Hi, my name is Allie Schmidt. This is my dad, Dan. He owns Catron's Glass.
Thanks, Allie. Things like doors and windows go into making a house. But when it's your home, you expect more, like the great service and selection you'll get from Catron's Glass. Vinyl replacement windows from Catron's come with a lifetime warranty, including accidental glass breakage replacement. Also ask for custom shower doors and many other products and services. Call 962-1636. Locally owned with local employees for nearly 30 years.
Catron's Glass, the clear choice.
Welcome to the BeTempered podcast, where we explore the art of finding balance in a chaotic world.
Join us as we delve into insightful conversations, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you navigate life's ups and downs with grace and resilience.
We're your host, Dan Schmidt and
Ben Spar.
Let's embark on a journey to live our best lives.
This is BeTempered.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the BeTempered podcast, episode number
26.
26. Ben, we have been rocking and rolling on the farm this fall.
Everything going good?
Yes.
That's awesome.
It's going. It's been challenging, but we're, day by day. Thank God I did 75 hard. That makes me recognize that you just take it one day at a time.
Yep.
Because it seems like every day there's been a new challenge. So, but it's good. We're getting through it, and we're getting close to the end. I will be glad and relieved when we are completed. But we got some weather rolling in here today that we haven't had. It's been pretty sunny and dry, and for really almost all of fall. And but we do need some rain to knock down some of this dust. So we're rocking and rolling. Things been good for you?
Oh yeah. Just, in the middle of baseball, football, basketball season all combined.
That's a you problem.
It is. We haven't practiced baseball in 3 months. Yeah, 3 months.
Okay.
But they decided to pick up a costume game just because it sounded fun.
Oh, that sounds great.
Oh, yeah.
Baseball ended last night for Major League.
That's right.
Yeah. The Dodgers came back.
Yeah.
All those Yankee fans.
Ugh.
Yikes.
Yeah, I don't know any Yankee fans. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I do.
maybe some of the Miller brothers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But then again, you lose when you make that many errors in an inning.
Yeah. It's like turnovers in a football game or a basketball game.
Oh, yeah. 5 runs in an MLB game in 1 inning is rough.
That's rough. Well, good. Well, today we wanted to talk about something that's kind of near and dear to our hearts, because we are both from small town USA, small communities with a lot of pride.
Yep.
And we had a lot of people in those communities kind of take us under their wings and foster our development as we grew up as young people. And so we wanted to talk about community and culture, and kind of where we're at in today's society, especially here. Next Tuesday is the election.
Yep.
There's a ton of divisiveness in not only in our communities, but in our nation. And it's been like that for a while. And it's very disappointing to see, because it seems to me like it's black or white. You're either voting for Donald Trump or you're voting for Kamala Harris. And if you're voting for Trump, and the people who are voting for Kamala hate you, and if you're voting for Harris, the people hate them as well.
Yep.
And it's super disappointing, because I think we've gotten away from really what America truly is, what our communities truly are, which is we can have differences of opinion, but we don't have to have this hate and animosity that seems to come out daily.
Right. And every year, every election cycle, it's like, man, can't get more divisive than this. And then guess what happens 4 years later? More divisive and more divisive. And the more that you can't have a conversation with somebody with it ending, 2 people having their own opinions.
Yeah.
And they're still different. That's okay. That's America. That's what makes us great, the differing of opinions. But, every year I just think it can't get worse than this. And then the next commercial comes on, and the next commercial comes on. Oh,
and, with next week, with Tuesday being the election, the presidential election, and, all the important issues on the ballots locally and for our schools, next week could be worse.
Yep. That's the truth. Yeah.
Unfortunately, where we hope we can, elect and vote for the things that we feel strongly about, and whether we win or we lose, however you feel, let's move on. And at the end of the day, let's take care of our community. Let's take care of ourselves, our families, and let's get better.
Right.
Let's not have all this hatred.
Yeah. And this is coming out Friday, so before the elections. So, I know the school levy for Eaton, us personally, is on it. Yep. Which is just a renewal. So go out there and vote for our kids.
That's right. Vote for our kids. But in talking about community, people say, well, what we need to have this change, or we need to do this, or why are our community leaders doing that? You can sit back and you can hope and you can pray that these people in these fancy suits, these politicians, are going to do something.
Right.
Well, I think that it's been proven over the hundreds of years that they're not, right? If we're going to do anything to make any change in a positive direction, it starts with us. It starts with us individually. It starts with us, getting out and getting involved in our community, taking care of ourselves, our bodies, our health, our families, and setting that example for others. Healthy community values safety, sustainability, growth, providing its members with opportunities for education, recreation, and personal development. Community leaders or influencers often model these values to help guide members in making decisions that benefit the group. Period.
Yeah. Exclamation point.
Yeah. So if we can't take care of ourselves, how can we expect these leaders to take care of us?
Right.
I think, the past 2, 3, 4 years, even the past 20 years in business, what I've come to realize is I can't wait on someone else. I have to do it myself and hope that I can influence Ben Spar, that he looks at me and says, man, what have you been doing? You look like you're healthy. You look like you got all your affairs in order and that things are going good and your kids are working hard and doing this. And I see you involved in your community. Why don't I do that? Right. And I think that is number one, to be able to improve our communities, to improve our culture, and to ultimately, and just improve our society in general. Right.
Right. No, I agree. When you mention that, you can go back to times where people have there's no better feeling when somebody's told you that before. Yeah. And, when people tell you that, two things kind of happen. It kind of gives you a little bit more confidence that, what, I am doing stuff right. I'm trying to do everything the right way. Now people are starting to see it. And that's honestly true leadership, right? And that's what we're missing up top. Yeah. Yep. From the presidents down, how many times can you look at a president and be like, they're not just talk, they're doing some action here.
Right.
Very few, right. Anymore. They don't even talk about themselves. They just talk about their opponent.
Right.
You can't really go off of what they've done. It's just what they say.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's one of the big things is you have to walk the walk. Yes. You can't talk the walk. You got to walk the walk.
Right.
Change with yourself and lead.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Some other things I look at and so my wife is from the Mercer County area, Mercer County, Ohio. And, that is a very unique community as far as, from the outside looking in, from being where I'm from and going up there, it is a very clean community. People take pride in their community. They take pride in their families. They take pride in their homes. They take pride in their farms, their schools. I mean, when I take people up there, friends that have never been up there, they're like, this place is clean.
Yeah. When we went up there to do the interview with your wife's aunt.
Yeah.
And it was our grandma. Yeah. It was absolutely.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Going by the school. And you see it, and I mean, it looked like something out of the 50s. Yeah. There was a line full of bikes of all those kids that rode their bikes to school, Yeah. It's different up there.
And why can't it be like that where we're at?
Yeah.
I mean, I think when I look at that, I just think, okay, it starts with the person in that house. It starts with the person in that house, the family in this house. And what they do is they take care of themselves. They take care of their homes.
Yep. And
then that's a reflection. Then guess what? The neighbor, he doesn't want to have a crappy home. He wants it to be cleaned up and the grass mowed and everything taken care of. And so That's just community pride. And when you have that in a whole entire community and everybody buys in and says, hey, no, we want it. We want this to be clean. We want people to come in here and say, wow,
right.
You know, but really that's how it should be everywhere. And it's not.
Nope.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I don't know how we've gotten away from that. But we got to get back to it.
Right. And I would go a step further there too. You know, you talk about everybody, you know, you take care of your home. I bet if those neighbors needed help, they would feel like just driving around and talking to some of the people down there, I guarantee you, I mean, especially, you know, your wife's grandma, she was even talking about if a neighbor needed help or something, they were there to help, you know. Do you feel like that in our, you know, in your community? Yeah. Or whoever's community you're living in. Like, do you feel like you can go next door to your neighbor? Not just the one on the left, but the one on the right.
That's right.
Know, we all have, I mean, and
yeah, whether you agree with their political beliefs or their ideologies or whatever, it doesn't matter. It comes down to helping others. What about volunteering? You know, how many different organizations are we a part of, whether it's youth sports or whether it's church or whether it's, you know, other volunteer organizations where you're seeing those numbers dwindle. Mm-hmm. I think something as simple as, you know, the booster clubs at the school on Friday night trying to get people to come in and volunteer to work in the concession stand.
Right.
It seems to be a big challenge, right? And I get it. We're all busy and working in a concession stand, especially the one for Eaton. Yeah. I mean, that place is cranking.
Yep. And you figure all the different things they have, you know, penny chicken.
Yeah.
Nobody else has that.
No, they don't. And they've got so many options, and it's got to be one of the busiest concession stands around on a Friday night home game.
Yep.
But they have difficulty trying to fill spots for people to help to volunteer. And, you know, I think it comes down to selfishness in people and thinking, well, I don't got to do it because Ben's going to do it, or I don't got to do it because Dan's going to do it.
Yep.
We got to get involved. We got to get back into the things that are important to not just us, but to our community.
Yeah.
And I think we've really gotten away from that. And it doesn't have to be volunteering at the concession stand or volunteering at your church. Like you said, it can be just helping your neighbor.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And even when you talk about the concession stand and stuff like that, it's priorities, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are your priorities? The other thing I think of is, you know, we talk about comfort over growth, you know?
Yeah.
If you're comfortable, you're not growing.
That's right.
It goes for the community too, right?
That's right.
If it's a Friday night and, you know, your favorite show on Netflix just released, Netflix kills us. I mean,
that's right.
You know, no matter what, you could sit on there and you can binge something for 6 to 8 hours. Well, are you comfortable sitting there in your couch on your blanket? What would it have took for 2 hours to go out and support your community?
Yeah.
You know, volunteer at the football game, or there's tons of other
rake your neighbor's leaves,
right?
You know, just helping out in some way, shape, or form. I found some quotes as we were kind of talking about this episode, and one of them comes from Helen Keller. She says, "Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much."
Right.
And I think it goes back to up in the Mercer County area and the little towns of St. Henry and Coldwater and Maria Stein, Versailles, Minster, all those little communities. If anybody listening is not from that area, take a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon and just drive up there and just drive through the towns and see how it makes you feel. Mm-hmm. Because I say it's unique, but it shouldn't be.
No.
Right? It shouldn't be. That should be when you drive into Richmond, Indiana, that should be the same feel. When you drive into Eaton, Ohio, the same feel. Dayton, Ohio, the same feel. Right? Mm-hmm. It just comes down to taking pride in yourself, in your home, in your family, in your community.
Right.
I think that's what we just get away from. And these devices don't help. No. Right. You know, right. I mean, I'm not perfect and you're not perfect. I mean, there's no doubt I'm sure I spend too much time on this device. And so I'm not sitting here saying I'm perfect, but I also try to pull myself away from it and say, hey, why am I doing this when I could be out doing that, right, helping this person or doing whatever.
And it kind of makes you think, where do we lose the community pride at? You know, at what point did we stop having pride of where we live, where we call home, you know? And I was trying to think that the past couple of days and weeks, I mean, I just don't know where we lost it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the little towns still have it. And I don't know if that's because they were born there, lived there, grew up there. They know everybody. I go back to my childhood, and every morning, like clockwork, you know, we could have made coffee at home. My dad would go to Speedway every single morning, buy a newspaper, which he could have ordered and had delivered to the house, and he could have made Folgers. Nope. He's going to go there, and the whole entire way it'd be every single person. Dad, who was that? I have no idea. Like, that's one thing my dad's known for. Like, he would just wave to everybody. And, you know, one day he's just like, I don't know them, but maybe that just changed their day. You know, well, who was that? Or maybe, you know, it's one act of kindness every single time.
Right.
Even as simple as a wave or a, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
That's all it takes just to start something happening.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're not asking you to go out there and spend 2 hours on a Friday night.
No.
But make one small step to try to make your community better.
Correct. And it can be something simple.
Yeah.
Another quote from Henry Ford says, coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. So again, it comes down to just getting involved, having pride. You know, I just keep hammering on the same things over and over and over again. And so, you know, that's I don't know how much more we can say other than, you know, if you're one of those people who, you know, you work hard at your job, which I do want to say something about that. I've been thinking about that a lot when people say, oh, you know, I work hard.
Right.
You know, I work hard in my job, and I'm every day and just working so hard. You know what? You know what I think? I think hard work is the standard.
Right.
I think hard work is like showing up on time. What do you do over and above that hard work? You know, you can come to work every day and you can work hard in your mind, right? That's the standard. Mm-hmm. What are you doing beyond that? So if you go to work and you come home and you're tired, I get it. You're tired, but then are you sitting on the phone the rest of the night, checking your Instagram, checking your Facebook, your Snapchat, all that stuff? What else could you be doing outside of that that's sucking the life out of your brain to get involved and to do other things, or to go and clean your house up?
Right.
You know, take a look outside and see what does it look like? When people drive by your house, what's it look like? You know, are you proud of it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel, you know, and you view that into school relations, right? Like, you go to school 8 hours or, you know, 6 hours, however long the kids go to school nowadays. That used to be the big thing with extracurriculars, right? You would go, you'd do work all day at school. Then you'd go to your extracurriculars, whether it's football, basketball, band, science club, debate club, whatever it is.
Right.
You go something else. And parents used to really push for that. Like, you wanted your kids to do that. Anymore, I feel like parents are kind of, hey, you know, do we really need to do that?
Yeah.
Not for the child's sake.
Right.
But it's more comfortable for them, right? They get to stay home and do that stuff. And I feel like as a school and as a community, that's one of the biggest things that we have to teach these kids now is work ethic.
Yeah.
You know, we have parents complaining about, well, I work hard, not complaining about it, but just, you know, good job. You worked hard. You know what I mean?
Right. Wanting a pat on the back for the standard.
Right. When that should be the standard. And that's how you get strong communities.
Yeah.
That work ethic. I mean, you'd figure a town like Eaton, right? How many factories, giant factories we have in that town?
Quite a few. Very fortunate to have what we have. Yeah.
Top factories.
Yes.
Like, you tell me a better factory than Henny Penny, right?
Right.
And then you got Bolin. You got Silflex.
Neaton and Silflex.
Yeah. You got tons of community, you know.
Yeah.
That's work ethic. That used to be the lifeblood of America, were those factories. And we're lucky enough to still have them in Eaton.
Yes.
That should be the blueprint of Eaton.
Yeah.
Is our hard work, strong community.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Well, I don't know how we got off on this tangent of community. I mean, we do have some frustrations with some things, I think, like a lot of people, but again, I'm pointing the finger back at me.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm pointing the finger back at my family. What can I do? You know, so that I can get better, so that I can be that influence on others to want to do the same thing. And I think if you're sitting there wondering, well, I don't have time for this, you know, maybe you're a single mom and you work 8 to 10 hours a day, and then you got to get kids here to there and get dinner squeezed in there and do laundry and all that stuff. You know, take a look in the mirror and say, okay, can I take an hour out of my day to go and volunteer? Can I take an hour out of my day to help my neighbor? You know, don't think poor me, you know, think, how can I go out and make this world a better place? If you're feeling helpless, become helpful. Right.
Right.
And, that's it. You know, I want more for our community, and it's a great community where we live. There's great people, there's hardworking people. But I think we can get so much better. And I hope that we get through this craziness of the election cycle and, hope that in some way, shape or form that'll start to turn more positive than negative. And that we can move forward to make our communities and our world a better place. I agree.
And then one of the other things, the topics of community, why I feel like community is so important. I think we all can look back at people, obviously not the same situations as Sean, but there's always people in your community, kids in the community that have those struggles. Yeah. And it might, like I said, definitely not like Sean's.
Right.
But a lot of times it goes silent, unnoticed. And if those kids aren't out in the community, if people aren't out in the community, where are those kids going to get mentors from?
Right.
To know where to go. Right. Or let's be honest, poverty is a big thing.
Yeah.
Not just in Eaton, but everywhere.
Right.
Those kids that they wouldn't say a word about how they are missing meals and stuff. No. Like I can remember kids all the time that would cut, why are you hanging out with so-and-so? They're trying to get food. Like you can tell, like our parents would tell us, like they're trying to get food. We can tell.
Right.
If those kids, like if you're sitting at home watching YouTube and you don't have those community connections anymore, you're not inviting kids over. Remember when the bikes used to all be in the front yards?
Oh yeah.
Not no more, is it? No. And when that stops happening, those kids start losing resources, and us as parents, now we've grown up, now we're parents. It's our jobs to look out for the other kids in the community that don't have those resources and everything. So I feel like when we lose the community feel, we're letting kids down, in my opinion. Kids that don't really have a voice, can't voice what they're missing. Yeah. I feel like that's why community is so strong, or why we need a strong community.
I agree, because those kids are going to be leaders someday.
Exactly.
And you want them to be strong leaders.
Right.
And for that to happen, we have to be strong leaders.
Yep.
And show them what's right and wrong, and how to get involved and how to be better. So,
and how to change their lives, right?
Yeah.
How to get off the trajectory they're on, or maybe their parents are on.
Yeah. I agree. Well, that's great. Well, everybody, again, as always, we're on, what did we say? Episode 26 and keeping this thing rolling. And we've had tremendous support throughout, these 26 episodes, and we greatly appreciate it. And again, we ask for you to continue to like and to share and to subscribe on YouTube. And, some people say, well, I don't have time to watch, right? Well, the podcast is really more audio. So you can go to your Apple Podcast, you can go to iHeart, you can go to Spotify.
Yep. Tune in
and just listen. Listen when you're sweeping the floor at home, or you're doing laundry, or you're out working out, or you're on your way, to work in your car. We just ask for your continued support, and we're gracious for all the continued phone calls and texts and messages that we receive. So
and we get notifications every time you hit share.
Yeah,
it's always great when people share the show.
It is,
and I think a couple weeks ago we had over 1,000 on one of the episodes. Well over 1,000.
Yeah, Sean Rubush's story. Yeah. I think it's almost 1,400 views on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
If you're on there, you're listening on YouTube, just give us a subscribe.
Yeah. Or make a comment.
Yeah.
The other thing too, that we ask, and I've been getting, really the past week or two, have been getting some messages of some suggestions of people that some friends that say, hey, I think you need to reach out to this person. This story is pretty powerful. So I've got 3 or 4 here just in the past week that is pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Because I love to hear the stories. A lot of the stories that we've heard prior, to this episode 26, I've known, right? I know a lot of them, but, and I've got a lot more coming that I do know, but man, I love to hear these new stories, because it's awesome for me to hear them as we're sitting here, interviewing the person. So if there's someone out there you think that's got a story that needs to be shared, reach out and let us know. You can hit us up on the website, BeTempered.com, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. We appreciate it. So thanks again, and go out and be tempered.
Hi, my name is Allie Schmidt. This is my dad, Dan. He owns Catron's Glass.
Thanks, Allie. Things like doors and windows go into making a house. But when it's your home, you expect more, like the great service and selection you'll get from Catron's Glass. Vinyl replacement windows from Catrons come with a lifetime warranty, including accidental glass breakage replacement. Also ask for custom shower doors and many other products and services. Call 962-1636. Locally owned with local employees for nearly 30 years.
Catrons Glass, the clear choice.